Foster's Cup action from Canada as Geelong tackles Melbourne under lights from the Sky Dome in Toronto. The Cats might be on the rebound after their narrow loss to Hawthorn in the VFL Grand Final, and tonight they get their chance to go one better after losing to Collingwood in Miami last year. The Demons led the way in these games, going back to Vancouver in '87. Under John Northey, they're always competitive and are determined to end the year on the positive notes. It's Foster's Cup action from the Sky Dome in Toronto. Yes, a very good evening, Australia, and welcome to Foster's Cup action, coming to you from the $553 million Sky Dome in the heart of Toronto. It's the world's newest sports stadium, and arguably it is certainly the best. Just like Melbourne's $50 million National Tennis Centre at Flinders Park, it does have a removable roof. This roof comes up in 4 sections, not just 2. And also, at gameside, we have a Hard Rock Cafe that seats up to 300 patrons, and just next to that in the background there, that glassed in front, that's just one of the many restaurants here that overlooks the arena. Really, it is a magnificent stadium. I'm sure, Ian Robertson, you would agree.
The Hard Rock Cafe certainly will attract us a bit later on, Pete, I think. But
I think it's already arrived, Ian.
Magnificent stadium here, and the crowd moving in. I think it sets the scene for what could be an interesting game tonight between Geelong and Melbourne.
It's possibly the best setup I've seen for Australian football indoors. The Geelong side on paper and possibly looks a little bit stronger than the Melbourne combination.
Well, of course they've got a bit of confidence, Peter, from their performance a couple of weeks ago in the grand final, but a grand final side that is depleted through injury. Barry Stoneham at centre half forward, Billy Brownless at full forward, Gary Ablett of course playing in the game, Tim Burke in the first ruck, the brother of Damien Burke. A couple of young fellows that are playing their first senior game for Geelong. Michael Gurry in the back pocket, Gary Phillips, the son of Ken Phillips, who played with South Melbourne, in the forward pocket, and Paul Brown, number 40, is on the interchange bench.
Let's take a look at the Melbourne side now, and once again the Melbourne side depleted by injuries, but they'll be looking for Steve O'Dwyer in the first ruck to lead them tonight, and also the Irishmen, White and Steins. They'll be looking to them to certainly provide a lot of drive, and so too Steve Newport, the ruck rover. Like Geelong, a lot of players playing their first games, and around the ground they'll be looking for experience for the likes of Bennett up in front of goals, who'll certainly be their focal point there, Conley and Bailey. And at fullback, an interesting player, Danny Seo, formerly of Collingwood. We saw a bit of him at the start of the year, but we haven't seen much of him since. So that's it, Melbourne and Geelong. The first game in the Foster's Cup. Robbo, who are you going for?
I think I'd have to tip Geelong, Peter. They've got a bit of experience, and as I said, the confidence from their good performance in the grand final against Hawthorn will stand them in good stead.
Brian Sheehan and John Russo are our umpires for the match. I'll agree with Robbo. I'll go for Geelong. We'll be back for the first quarter. Foster's Cup action from the Toronto Sky Dome after this. Melbourne kicking to the right, and Geelong kicking to the left. One by Steve O'Dwyer. Tingay might get the first kick out of this. He got a push in the back. Well, the umpire has decided to bounce it. More players around the ball. O'Dwyer again thumps it some 5 or 8 metres downfield. Tingay again. The umpire has found the free kick. Beveridge is on the ground. He's not going to get the free kick. It's going to Rogers of Geelong. Sean White at the back probably should have tried to punch the ball clear. Darren Morgan tried to dive in, didn't come out with it. The umpire says a trip. And the free kick will be going Melbourne's way.
Jay Viney, Peter.
2 Vineys in the side tonight for Melbourne. Todd Viney and his brother Jay. Tingay dispossessed. Christensen going through pretty solidly. There's Ablett. Got the ball down to a teammate who couldn't do much with it. Ablett again got a push in the back. I bet he's glad he's got those elbow guards on Ian, because he'd have a nice bit of gravel rash otherwise.
Yes, it was brilliant positioning of his body there by Gary Ablett to receive that free kick at half-back.
Gary Ablett, what we term the half-back flank. Not a bad kick, about 55 metres. Stoneham almost a mark. He's been looking at Ablett. And there's the other Viney. That's Jay Viney getting it out to Jackson. And in turn to Steve Newport at right centre wing.
Newport's kick is ill-directed. The mark has been taken by Troy. He gets the ball off to Baldwin. Baldwin's long kick into the full forward area. The high flyer at the back, Seo. What a magnificent mark taken by Danny Seo. And Melbourne a chance to repel that promising Geelong forward move. The kick comes straight across the field to Ricky Jackson. Jackson, a very quick player, but his kick is a poor one, and it drops in short. The mark taken by Gary Ablett. Gary Ablett signalling he's going to go long, and it is a long kick up towards full forward. Nearly the mark taken. Brunt swoops on it. A great smother there by Connolly. Coming clear is Sean White. The high kick towards half forward on that left side, and the mark has been taken by Christensen for Geelong, and he will kick the Cats back into attack.
I'm just thinking he could have almost got a 50-metre penalty, and that would be worth something considerable here. High flyers are needed. It comes down to Melbourne's Marnie. Now Brownless, a long hand pass. Brunt's only 5 metres out from goal, and he's put it through for the first one of the match. Neville Bruns, as Ian mentioned, one of the veterans of the Geelong side and captaining the Cats tonight. So he'll be pretty pleased getting the Cats off to a good start. Let's take a look at that again. And Melbourne seemed to have most of the ball in the first few minutes, but it was Geelong to ultimately capitalise. Neville Bruns, only a few metres out, puts it through. Back into the centre, Dwyer doing well in the ruck. That's his third tap away. Jackson with speed. Could be a quick reply to Beveridge, but it's McCrabb who comes out of defence with the ball. A short pass up to the half-back line, and the mark is taken for the Cats by Gurry. Gurry in turn onto Morgan at left centre wing.
Morgan kicks the Cats long into attack, up towards full forward. The high flyers required. The good punch away by the Demon defence. Now a chance for the Demons to get clear. It was Marnie over to CO, onto Sean White. Melbourne doing well there to get it out of defence. Long hand pass now to Jay Viney, who's approaching the centre. The short pass in the full forward area. It's broken down. Christensen hand pass back to Boss. Boss for Geelong over the top. Now an opportunity for Geelong. They've got the numbers in the centre of the field. Darren Morgan gets it onto Bruns. Bruns will go long. The drop punt kick slews off the side of his boot into the opposite forward pocket, but a big punch by the Melbourne defence rushes it through for a behind on this occasion, through between the smaller post and the larger post, a behind to Geelong. So 1-1 plays, no score. The Demons still scoreless. The kick in towards centre half back, gathered by Stoneham. He plays on. The little left foot chip into the pocket. Too far for Bruns. He can't do much with the football. And we'll have a boundary throw in, and the play would be about 40 metres from the Geelong goal.
Yes, it's hard to say with forward pocket or otherwise, but Dwyer, he's doing well in the ruck so far for Melbourne, probably their best player. Stoneham, one of the most improved in the VFL. Troy's kick will go close. Is it Geelong second? Might be through or touched. Touched right on the line, so one behind. And that man again, Gary Ablett, best man in the grand final. And continuing on from where he left off, it would appear. And the mark is taken by Marnie, one of the rookies in the Melbourne side. Good kick up towards the centre square. Ball bounces kindly to Rogers, who gets the hand pass in turn to Troy. Back in turn it comes to Gary Cameron, out towards the right half-forward flank for Geelong, and the running Morgan. Is the ball kept in play? I think it might have been. Coming away is Lovell. Nothing paid for that. Baldwin caught with the ball. Umpire John Russo says it will be a bounce, and that bounce will take place on the centre wing position. Melbourne yet to score. Geelong doing it well so far in the first term. Bruns breaks away with the ball, but it's going to be a Melbourne free kick. It will be taken by the big Irishman, Jim Steins.
Steins towards centre half forward. Great mark taken by Rogers. Very strong. He gets the hand pass off to Boss. Boss's hand pass in turn goes over the top. Gary Cameron gathers pretty well. One bounce. His hand pass is ill-directed. Right into the back pocket proper. Chance there for Gurry. Gurry now, the hand pass goes further afield to half-back. The high kick in towards the centre. Steins has dropped. At the back, Lovell can't control the football. Comes out to Connolly. Connolly back onto the favoured left foot. From a standing start, he kicks too long and too wide. It's out of bounds on the full. And that indicates that Geelong will take the free kick at half-back. That's one of our rules, that if you kick the ball out of bounds on the full, the opposition takes the free kick. That kick now goes in towards the centre, and the high flyer, taking a great mark, is Tim Burke, the brother of Damien Burke. Captain, he was tackled, forced to kick back towards the Melbourne goal, gathered by Boss. Boss onto the left foot, the kick is too wide, bouncing close to the line. There's nothing much Troy can do with it, so he takes it over for a boundary throw in just forward of centre wing in Melbourne's forward half. And at this stage, Geelong 1-2 lead Melbourne, who are yet to score. A big thump by O'Dwyer. Free kick that's been picked out of it. Umpire Russo there officiating on that exchange between Burke and O'Dwyer will take the free kick on centre wing.
That look good Irish names.
Yes, and pretty fiery customers, both of them too. O'Dwyer's kicked towards full forward. Bennett can't mark. Now he has the ball. A quick kick out of it. No Melbourne possession. Boss again doing well in the crunches at full-back. Big punch by Newport. No one on the end of it for Melbourne. Now an opportunity for Christensen, who's doing pretty well at half-back. Stoneham, the bouncing ball a little bit difficult for him to control. A big bump there by Barry Stoneham on Luke Beveridge. Play on. Stoneham still with the ball. Gurry backed up now by Christensen. Good play, good vision there. Gary Cameron in towards the centre. Morgan will go down. No, he won't. Good play, Darren Morgan. Conley's hand pass. Now the opportunity for Melbourne to get clear. It's Jay Viney getting it back to young Marnie. Marnie doing pretty well at centre-half back for the Demons. The left foot kick out wide. It goes over the top of all players' heads. It's close to the line. Now an opportunity for Troy. Gets the hand pass back to Bruns. Bruns in centre field goes long. A magnificent kick by Bruns to full forward. Brownless! And that's what Australian rules football's all about.
I tell you what, he'll just about kick it too from there, Brownless.
I think he could be 35 yards further out, Peter,
easy.
and I'd back him even then. One of the best kicks in the caper. Bill Brownless. And have a look at that. Billy Brownless. He hooks the kick, but it's still through for a goal at Geelong. So they're 2-2. Melbourne yet to score.
Back into the centre, Geelong doing it well, and the ball out of the centre to Stoneham, who went for the tap on. That was almost a throw. There's Beveridge. He seems to have recovered from that knock. And Stoneham is going to come out of it with a free kick. Barry Stoneham was well held by Chris Mew in the grand final. Morgan takes the mark. He'll get a free kick against Newport anyway because it was rather high. And Darren Morgan just off the edge of the centre square to take the kick. Now Brownless, had he taken that mark there, would just about kick this. Morgan goes for the spiral punt, and in fact it's going pretty close. It goes into the square, touched by O'Dwyer. The umpire's seen an infringement, and it will go a free kick to Melbourne's Marnie, who, as Ian mentioned a short time ago, not doing a bad job. Looks a likely colt, doesn't he, Ian?
Big tall fella too.
Yeah. Tim Burke in front. At the back was Steins, picked up by Boss. He was having a pretty good first quarter so far. A big pack of players down there, one of whom was Abbott. The ball fisted clear. Chance for Phillips. Not a particularly good hand pass. And the umpire indeed has blown the whistle. John Russo indicating there's going to be a free kick. It will go to Cameron. That's Gary Cameron. And about right half forward flank. And on this smaller by comparison ground for VFL standards, he could just about kick it. The goal umpire says he has.
Well, they're doing pretty well, aren't they, Pete? The Cats, and it's all stemming around that centre square area where they're relentless with their moves forward, either by tackles or just pushing it clear. Hand pass is certainly a little bit more effective, or a lot more effective, than Melbourne, who are really struggling.
Melbourne often struggle up forward. That was the case during the year. And indeed, they're struggling again tonight. O'Dwyer, they're doing well in the centre. Morgan could have got a free kick for in the back, which was pretty obvious. Darren Morgan, who played in the reserves grand final for Geelong, might have been unlucky not to get into the seniors. Brownless almost again. In fact, could have had a free kick given to him there, but the umpire says no. The mark in the meantime to Beveridge, who's decked again for the second time in the game. And Luke Beveridge gets up to take the kick at the right half-back flank. Luke Beveridge. Steins in the middle, went for the knock-on. No one was there to take it except Neville Bruns for Geelong. Back to Morgan. Geelong has its running game going pretty well at the moment. Baldwin at left half-forward flank. Not a particularly well-delivered kick. The bounce favours nobody except Cameron. He could run into goal. He won't. He's got a hand pass away, and the snapshot for Geelong is taken by Phillips, and he's put it through.
Well, that young guy, as I mentioned in the lead-up, is the son of Ken Phillips, who played football with South Melbourne in the, I guess, around about the 50s or 60s. And it was a very, very good snap for goal by the youngster. And surely that'll help him in his feel for senior football. So the bounce back in the centre, the Demons are really struggling. Tim Burke up high, crashed to the ground. Still a struggle for possession in the centre. And Tim Burke just airing a little bit of a disagreement there with big Steve O'Dwyer as the two big men pick themselves up from this artificial turf here at the Sky Dome. Again, a good bounce. Burke this time gets the tap out, but the umpire indicating that O'Dwyer this time is infringed in the ruck contest, so the free kick will go to the giant Geelong ruckman. Short kick, effective. Boss has drifted up from half back and takes the ball.
Playing well.
Between centre wing and centre half forward. Mark Boss, one of the veterans. Short pass again is effective. And Baldwin takes the mark. Baldwin, who's played a few senior games with the Cats, but a lot of ability. This kick, not quite what he would have desired. And the mark has been taken by Todd Viney at half back, looking to play on. Viney hesitated just a little bit too much there, and the ball goes wide, looking for his brother Jay Viney, chipping in as Steins. Also an opportunity now there for Phillips again, the previous goal kicker. Baldwin's well tackled by Jackson on the boundary line. He's caught with the ball, but the ball obviously had been hurried over, and the boundary umpire officiating close to the action there will throw it in. It's at half forward for the Cats, about 50 metres from their goal. The ball comes down to Phillips again. His kick slews off the side of his boot into the pocket, and was that a mark? It could have been paid there to Todd Viney. It is. All fair. So Todd Viney has the mark in the back pocket.
Viney, good kick to centre wing. I guess under the lights it's hard to judge Lovell. Lovell's kick is short. Melbourne into attack for one of the rare times in the opening term, but not for very long it would appear. Troy comes out with the ball.
Free kick, Peter, to Tingay, back where the marking contest was. He was being held there by young Gurry, the back pocket player for Geelong.
Stephen Tingay, therefore, the chance to bring up Melbourne's first goal, and indeed their first score. He'll be about 45 metres out from goal. Should score from there. He's done that. And the goal umpire says only one behind. And, oh, what do they call it here? The Bronx cheer or the raspberry?
I think it might have been the raspberry for their first score.
Yeah. Austin McCrabb kicks in and does well for Geelong to find Darren Morgan. Morgan at the right half back line. Funny old kick. I mentioned he played in the reserves grand final. He did well. This is Stoneham
chipping in, Peter. That funny old kick covered about 60 metres. You wouldn't believe it, would you? Wobbled through the air, but he's got onto some magnificent torpedo punt kicks, Darren Morgan.
I think in that game too, he kicked about 4 goals. Just taking it a step further. And was unlucky to miss out on senior selection. Mark Boss. Morgan again. Over to Gurry. Knock on for Melbourne. That was by Jay Viney. Oh, Sean White nearly had his head taken off. Viney again. Up towards centre wing. This is Beveridge. Hand pass. Melbourne finally getting some run. That one was intended for Jackson from Lovell. It's out of bounds.
You know, Peter, sometimes those hand passes, the opposition players are going to see that it's an obvious hand pass, and it really hardly ever comes off when they're tucked into the boundary line.
Baldwin goes underneath Stein, somehow gets it to Christensen, who gets it to Bruns. Lightning hand pass to Morgan. Morgan inside the square, chased by Lovell. Long left footer again, not quite as long as the other one. Danny Seo gets a hand to it, or a fist to it, to keep it away from Brownless. It'll be a throw in. It's at the right half forward flank again for Geelong. In the first quarter, some 9¼ minutes left. Crowd enjoying the contest, but at the moment I suppose that's a misnomer because the Cats are really doing it so well. Good tackle by Stoneham, and the mark taken by Baldwin at centre field. Chips it in short, tries to find Brownless, couldn't do so, and his opponent, who's having a pretty good first quarter, Marnie, takes the mark.
It's good play by that young fellow there to put himself into a position where he was going to be hurt. The kick comes out towards centre wing. Melbourne have 2-on-1, but Boss is at the back, has judged it a little bit better, and Boss will clean it up for the Cats. He's kicking towards the centre. Oh, he took it too easy there, Stoneham. And roving the Jay Viney hand passes Jackson. Beautiful little left foot chip finds Steins. Jackson will take it back wide at half forward. The short pass into the full forward line. Coming out strongly is Bennett. He's well tackled. And look at Geelong with the numbers when the ball hits the ground. Baldwin's hand pass wide to Steins. Jackson held when he didn't have it. Umpire allows play to go on because that now, what Jackson did was illegal, and the Cats in numbers. Gary Cameron, sweeping hand pass over the top. Coming up from back pocket is Christensen. He has one bounce and ducks and weaves and kicks it towards full forward. The big punch came from Sean White over the top, and he punches it out of bounds. May have been Seo there who arrived late on the scene. and good defensive work by the Melbourne full back line.
They're getting plenty of work.
Under lots of pressure, Geelong irrepressible in their efforts to win the first game in this Foster's Cup for 1989. Rhodes kicked towards the centre wing area. The bounce is a little awkward for all players. Swooping on it is Lovell. The short chip, Steins, over the top. Lovell leaves it for Jackson. Look at this man go. Left foot kick by Jackson will bounce through. Great goal by Melbourne.
At long last, Ricky Jackson. And they certainly did it the hard way, didn't they? But they did bring the ball from the back pocket around the boundary line and capped off by Ricky Jackson for their first goal. But we saw before that Ian, Geelong running down the ground in 2s and 3s. They're really playing with a lot of confidence.
Well, they've got that bit of experience that is helping them, and they're fairly positive they are, the Cats too, kicking the ball pretty well direct straight towards that goal square.
Back into the centre, it's O'Dwyer, who has done well at the bounces. Marnie gets the hand pass away. Newport tried to find Road, couldn't do so. Now it's Bailey to Connolly, who is named in the back pocket, up towards the centre wing position. Todd Viney down to Tingay. Well, Tingay fumbles and it leaves it to Troy. O'Dwyer tried to clean him up but didn't succeed. Burke from a standing start. Long kick down to half forward. That was White. Ablett gets offloaded. Appeared to be a fair bump. Ball finally paddled out. Finally picked up for Melbourne down there by Jay Viney. Into the open space. Right half forward flank. Bennett. 1-on-2. And the ball out in front of Gurry. It'll be a throw in Melbourne's right forward pocket. There's Darren Bennett, number 19. One of the longest kicks in the game. Hasn't had one yet. Steins taps it down. And we can see Cameron do the tidying up work for Geelong. His kick is short and towards the centre circle. Burke is there. O'Dwyer beats him to it. Well done by the big fellow. That's not a bad sort of a hoof. Down towards Bennett. And Bennett, has he taken the mark? I don't think so, says the umpire. A snapshot at goal, back over his shoulder. Won't be a score. And in fact, it rolls out of bounds on the other side of the field.
Cameraman could have taken a spectacular mark there, Pete.
Put him on contract. Throw in. Steins. Rogers. Back to Cameron. Geelong's defence pretty tight. Good tackle, Jackson. Should be rewarded.
Yes, you picked that perfectly, Peter. I think the fact that the man tried to go back and burst his way through, and Jackson tackled fairly and effectively, the man with the ball has to be penalised. So Jackson now with a shot from about 10 metres. And as you can see from the replay, Ricky Jackson, poor kick, hits the post. Well, I think he'd be pretty disappointed with his efforts after working so hard to get the ball. And missing from there was a crucial error, particularly with the scoreboard 4-2 to 1-1 in Geelong's favour. Melbourne desperately needed another goal. There's 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. A kick straight up the ground. O'Dwyer high over the top. Troy bursting his way through. Great play by Darren Troy. The kick towards centre half forward for Geelong. There's no one home. White jumps too early. Sio's under pressure, but he does pretty well, Danny Sio, lying on his back, tackling hard, and he holds the ball in. The Geelong player was Phillips, and young Phillips has already kicked one goal with Gary Cameron, Brownless and Bruns, the goal scorers for the Cats. Now a chance for Stone, and the hand pass over the top goes wide to give Troy the opportunity to run onto it. The short chip back. Newport couldn't mark. Road gets it back to Newport. Newport from a standing start kicks a wobbly punt up towards half forward. Look at that ordinary bounce. Mark Boss was the Geelong player. Now Rogers, the ball comes out the back. Kick off the ground by Todd Viney. Doesn't go very far. Morgan, a hard worker across the half back line for Geelong. The kick towards half forward and a magnificent effort by young Marnie. He plays on and gets the hand pass wide to Sean White. His pass finds Beveridge on centre wing, and Melbourne have possession. They could go into attack through this kick by Luke Beveridge.
Luke Beveridge, who's been taken out a couple of times in the opening term. Bennett, great mark. Not paid, was it, by the umpire?
Yes.
Should be.
Yes, it's okay.
John Russo has a smile on his face. One of the more jovial characters on the plane trip over, as I recall.
That was A for effort by Darren Bennett. You can see that it was a high leap, and taking 2 or 3 grabs, I think that it was a genuine mark.
Now, Darren Bennett, we spoke about his kicking ability earlier in the game. I hope he doesn't let us down. Should kick it from there. He has done. Melbourne's second goal.
Notice just then also, Peter, that Jay Viney has been replaced by Stephen Phoebe's twin brother, Matthew Phoebe.
I'm glad they're both not playing tonight.
Well, it's hard enough with Jay and Todd Viney on the ground, so at least we have some relief with Jay Viney now on the bench, Matthew Phoebe on the ground. The bounce back in the centre. Big Tim Burke doing pretty well. Ablett tries to crash his way through. Baldwin there for Geelong. He's been interfered with, and Baldwin will take the free kick not far from the centre circle. Baldwin, ex-Assumption College Kilmore. High flyer, Marnie. Brownless can't gather. Bruns tackled by Marnie. Play on, says the umpire. Melbourne may get clear here. Good play. Hand pass over the top to Bailey, who was an interchange player and took Anthony Lovell's place. The mark is taken at centre-half forward by Steins. Hand pass off to Newport. Great smother by Rogers. Rhodes under pressure now from Rogers. Can he get the hand pass out? Geelong, look at that. They're going in hard. Pushing the ball further forward. Ablett tries to crash it towards Gary Cameron. Ablett's in there using plenty of weight behind where the ball is. Newport over the top. The hand pass intercepted by Morgan. Morgan goes for the long torpedo. It drops in short, nearly a Geelong mark to Brownless. Sean White gets clear, and he'll effectively get the ball out of fullback area for Melbourne, out towards that young player Phoebe that we mentioned. Newport takes the kick, and the pass is effective, finds Tingay at half forward.
Stephen Tingay, left half forward flank. Bennett on a lead and marks. Good grab over the top of Austin McCrabb. Well, for local consumption, I better say mark, otherwise I might get confused, but he's caught it.
Yes, it can be taken a few ways, can't it? As long as he gets hold of it and controls it.
Now, Darren Bennett, similar position to his last goal. I don't know about that one. Has he got it? No.
The only thing that lets him down, Peter, is he's kicking from deliberate shots. He kicks them from a long way out, but when they're within 40 to 45 metres, distance not a problem. He does sometimes lack that effectiveness.
Yes, it's not good for a full forward to miss ones like that. McCrabb, short kick, and the mark taken by Morgan. A little bit risky, arguably. Morgan with that funny old left foot style he's got. Couldn't be marked by Steins. Steve Newport picks it up well, hooks it across his body, tries to find Bailey. The two number 24s there clash, Bailey and Boss. Bailey has a few words to say to Mark Boss. I notice a lot of players misjudging the flight of the ball, not just from boundary throw-ins, but from kicks as well. Jackson from Beveridge, and there's Bennett again.
Great pass. That Ricky Jackson saw the man leading into the pocket, and it was really a very, very effective kick because it gave Bennett the chance to run into it. There's the siren to end the first quarter.
He'll have the kick.
Bennett will have the kick after the siren.
So Darren Bennett, can he make amends? He's kicked one goal so far in this term. This is the opportunity for Melbourne's third, and he has hit the post, I think. So two posters for Melbourne in the quarter. And at quarter time, the score, Geelong 4 goals 2-26, Melbourne 2 goals 3-15. We'll be back with the second quarter in just a moment. And it's the second quarter now from the Skydome in Toronto. Geelong 4-2-26, leading Melbourne 2-4-16. Dwyer and Burke again tangled at the centre bounce. Umpire Brian Sheehan has picked out a free kick going to the Geelong player for interference. Burke from the centre square, down towards Ablett, who hasn't been able to really hit his strap so far, but he will shortly, believe me. Sean White on the end of a hand pass, and Darren Troy takes the mark on the left centre wing for the Cats. High kick. Ablett again, got two hands to it, couldn't mark it. And well tackled down there as Phillips has already kicked a goal so far. And the umpire deeming the ball was held to him. And so a stalemate actually, and it will be a bounce. Umpire John Russo, one of the more senior men in VFL ranks. And Dwyer, a bit like Mike Goff, he had a fresh air shot at that one. Bruns, high tackle. And Neville Bruns.
He was a bit lucky, Pete. I thought he ducked his head there, Neville Bruns. And
you're right, he did, but it was still a high tackle.
Well, the tackle was around the shoulders, and when he ducked his head, I thought the tackle then was forced to go around his head.
Bruns about 40 metres out, 45. That's not a good kick from the Geelong captain tonight. And Stephen O'Dwyer takes the mark. short pass, not a good pass road. Ultimately got boot to ball, finds Bailey on the half-back line. Late on the scene was Boss. Those two, no love lost between them tonight. Steins, almost a mark. Very talented Irishman, this fellow around Christensen. Shoots at goal. That looks pretty good. And he's put it through. Well played. So an excellent goal by Jim Steins, and that's just what John Northey would have required at the start of this quarter.
Yes, they needed a goal badly, and Jimmy Steins, I think the Geelong defenders thinking at all stages that he was going to give the hand pass out, and he did pretty well to get round onto the right foot and kick accurately for a badly needed goal to the Demons. So 3-4, 22, 4-2, 26. The Cats lead by 4 points. The ruck contest again, there's nothing from it. And the umpire, this time umpire Brian Sheehan, will come in and bounce once again. So Melbourne back into it, and the crowd certainly looking for some sort of a contest. The Demons making something of it now. Gary Cameron at half-back takes it about 8 metres towards the Melbourne goal. The hand pass comes out. Now an opportunity for Christensen, who got the hand pass from Rogers. The ball now up towards centre-half forward. Ablett at the back can't mark, but he got the ball somehow. Left foot snapshot by Gary Ablett. Into the pocket, the bouncing ball goes in front of Phillips, and we'll have a boundary throw in that left forward pocket for the Cats. 4-2 plays 3-4.
Interestingly, Ian, Geelong got the first 4 goals. Melbourne's got the last 3.
Yes, they're just eating away slowly but surely. Again, O'Dwyer gets the tap out down to Connolly. The ball out of the trouble zone temporarily for Melbourne. The gather by Todd Viney. He's a good, strong player, Todd Viney. The hand pass wide. Boss is the first back to it. Onto the left foot goes Mark Boss. Gives the hand pass to Morgan. He wasn't expecting it. Baldwin has dispossessed. The ball still in the centre. Crunch time. Rogers, hand pass back. Umpire still allows play to go on. John Russo allowing the players to bump each other solidly. Now he picks a free kick out of it. And I'm with you, Brett Bailey. I couldn't see it. It's allowed to play on now, and Boss kicks Geelong into attack.
Well, I must disagree, Ian. It was an elbow to the head. Bailey, as I said, between those two players, Boss and Bailey, there's not too much love lost at the moment. They've had a battle bouncing off each other all night. Steins on left centre wing, who kicked the last goal for Melbourne. It's a funny old kick from Steins. Down towards half forward. Chance for Melbourne at the back. Tingay should score and does hit the post. 3 times he's given it a goal.
It's a goal because it hit the backboard, Peter, and
I'm sorry.
back. So clean goal. He couldn't miss that from about 8 metres out. And you thought, because it bounced back so quickly, that it may have hit the post. But great play there by Stephen Tingay.
Well, that's something I haven't had to... Yes, there it is. It's the backboard, which is... Actually, that's a restaurant there. Some of the VVIPs watching the game from in there. Back into the centre. So the Demons doing it well now. Off the ground was O'Dwyer. Troy overruns the ball. He'll get a second chance. Farms out the hand pass to Baldwin, but the umpire's given a free kick. It's going Melbourne's way. And it'll be taken by ruck rover Steve Newport. He started to come into his own late in the first quarter. Tried for the spiral punt, didn't get onto it. Cameron. Morgan. Oh, should have taken that one. Over goes Viney. Umpire says nothing for that. Now Ricky Jackson's already kicked 1 goal, and that is a shocker.
Well, I tell you what, there was some strong stuff in there by Todd Viney, because if he hadn't have met the ball, it was going to be cleared out by Geelong. And Todd Viney, tremendous there, showing real courage. Some of the Melbourne injured contingent. Gary Lyon there. The ball kicked in. Free kick has been picked out of it. And it's going back to the back pocket. Umpire Sheehan having a bit of a chat now to the Melbourne player Connolly. The free kick will be taken by the Geelong captain in this match, Neville Bruns. Cats trailing by 3 points now after kicking the first 4 goals. Ball back in the centre. Tingay, good play. Hand pass is a little astray, but Melbourne have the numbers. Beveridge will go for goal from 50 metres. The kick is wide to the right and through for another behind. Melbourne's inaccuracy, and on a couple of occasions it's only been slight because they've hit the post twice, have them in front by 3 points. 4-5 plays 4-2. Kicking goes to the half-back area, high over the top. Burke can't take the mark. O'Dwyer tries to crash his way through. The hand pass goes to Connolly. Connolly's at centre-half forward, gets underneath the drop punt kick. Before it's full forward, Jackson can't mark. The punch away goes back to centre half forward. Beveridge is well tackled, but he gets the hand pass away. Good strength there by Beveridge. Tingay kicks it in towards full forward. Good play by McCrabb, but he's knocked off the ball by Jackson. Tingay's after it again, tries to get the hand pass back to Jackson. Troy gets it out to Baldwin, and Baldwin clears for the Cats towards centre wing. No mark taken. Marnie, yes, he's been paid, and he's doing a pretty good job because he's up against the state centre half forward, Barry Stoneham. Marnie comes away. Stoneham looks slightly injured behind play. The kick towards full forward, the mark is taken by Troy.
Darren Troy, pretty busy player for Geelong tonight. He's gone across the ground with that kick. Underneath it is Bailey. Over the top was Bruns. Boss gets collected by Sean White, but fairly on the boundary line. Bruns sockers it further forward. And the ball goes over the boundary line in front of Danny Seo, who puts it in the face of Neville Bruns. It's a throw in. O'Dwyer and Burke. Well, thumped away by O'Dwyer. Not particularly accurate. Boss gives it to Cameron. Cameron inside the square. Kick is short up towards half forward. Opportunity for the Demons now to get clear. This is young Marty again after he took the hand pass from Phoebe. And the Demons combining well. Much better in defence in the first part of this quarter than they were in the first. Rogers on right centre wing. Ablett, well, he missed one on his own, but the whistle had already gone for a free kick to Steve O'Dwyer. He's done well on the ruck tonight. Has the experience over Burke. That'll be a free kick to Steins for interference. I think Morgan was quite prepared to concede that. Jim Steins, who's kicked one goal so far. Onto Road, marking in front of Rogers. Gets the call to play on. Troy playing a good game here.
Yes, best man on the ground so far, Troy.
Over to Gurry, one of the youngsters in the Geelong side who did in fact represent his team in the reserve grade grand final. And the ball bouncing over the line on centre wing. Yes, it has done, in front of Marnie.
Actually, I mentioned Troy as best man on the ground, but hasn't Marnie done a good job on Barry Stoneham at centre half back for Melbourne?
Stoneham has been pretty well cut out of the play. That's not a bad effort. As you said, the state centre half back, O'Dwyer. Another fresh air shot. Oh, getting met pretty solidly down there was Matthew Viney.
Free kick there to the Melbourne player, just picking himself up off the turf was Stephen Newport. Poor tackle there by Darren Morgan.
There's a couple he's given away in the last 30 seconds, Morgan.
He's a little exuberant when he goes after the ball.
He is. Steve Newport, excellent player. And again, players from both sides misjudging it. Bailey going through like a train. Misses the ball. Jackson, always elusive, close to goal. Gets the hand pass out. This is Beveridge from a standing start. He might have thought that one. That's a great kick. He's put it through.
Well, it was a very good kick by Beveridge from quite a distance out, and he also had to hook the ball across his body, so the accuracy plus the distance made it very effective. And Melbourne have certainly changed this game around, 5-6 to 4-2, as we have a look at Luke Beveridge now do just what John Northey would have thought was very, very good of him. So back in the centre, and Dwyer thumps the ball with the left hand. Burke knocks him to the ground, and Burke gives Connolly one. Well, he doesn't mess around, Tim Burke. Umpire Brian Sheehan could have seen the left hand or the left elbow that he gave Chris Connolly, but still the free kick is only paid just slightly up the field from where O'Dwyer had been dropped. So Jackson will take it for Melbourne. He's right on the edge of the square. It's difficult to assess the distance, probably about 60 metres. Short pass to Bennett, knocked away by McCrabb. Gary Cameron dispossessed by Connolly, back in towards the centre. Here's O'Dwyer trying to crash his way through. Effectively, Rogers gets the ball to Gurry, and Gurry will put Geelong into attack within goal scoring distance. White can't mark, but Melbourne have the numbers. Now they don't, because Brownless picks it up quickly. Beautifully tackled by Matthew Phoebe.
Good decision.
And stood his ground well to receive the free kick at half back.
Billy Brownless ducking the head. Oh, that's a shocking kick, wasn't it?
Terrible.
And he's given Geelong, through Rogers, the chance to come back. And he's found Phillips has already kicked one goal. That was in the first quarter.
A little too far out, maybe.
Yes, they don't have the lines measured here, so it's left to our guesswork. No guesswork about that kick, though, Ian. That's a goal. His second.
I heard you mention over the last couple of years that you should never really put your reputation on the line about distances in football matches, should you? Because the players could certainly make a liar out of you. And that was a great kick by young Phillips. As we see, the accuracy perfect on that occasion. So it puts Geelong back into the match. They trail by 4 points after they kicked the first 4 goals. Back in the centre, that spirited contest continues between O'Dwyer and Burke. The ball comes out the back to Darren Morgan. He's kicked towards half forward, and standing in the way is Marnie. Marnie takes the mark for Melbourne. The kick wide looks fairly effective, but dropping back there was Bruns. Helped out now by Stoneham. The hand pass over the top. Connolly's in the good position to perhaps looking for a free kick there, Chris Connolly. And Gurry does well to help it over the boundary line. So we'll have a boundary throw in on centre wing. It's perhaps just slightly forward of centre wing in Geelong's attacking half. The ball comes over the back. Now opportunity for Morgan. Sweeping hand pass. Phillips just took his eye off the ball. He was going to do something with it before he had control of it. Morgan will run into an open goal, and Phillips, you've made amends by giving that hand pass out.
Darren Morgan putting through his first goal, as Ian said. Phillips did make amends. Phillips has already kicked 2 goals himself, but the hand pass to Darren Morgan. And Darren Morgan on this occasion making no mistake. So that was one that Geelong needed after Melbourne had started to take control. Back into the centre. Getting it out of the centre on his smaller ground, most important, and Steins for Melbourne does just that. Darren Troy playing a tremendous game for the Cats. So too has Mark Boss. Their defence has been pretty tight now. Has tightened up a lot. Ablett in front. Can't take those screamers that he so much likes to do. Ablett. Snapshot. And Gary Ablett doing something that he didn't do in the VFL Grand Final. Miss from so close in. One behind. Kicked by the superstar.
Well, Peter, on that basis, you'd have to commend Peter Rode, who's been playing on Gary Ablett right from the start. And Peter Rode, an unheralded player in the Melbourne lineup.
Good stopper, though. Baldwin. Baldwin, I would say about 40 to 45 metres out from goal. Should go close. Maybe he was a bit further. Ablett tries for the right in the pack. Didn't get it. Cameron, will he get the hand pass away? Tries to. Christensen doesn't kick too many goals. He might have kicked one here. One behind only. Kicked by Marty Christensen, so a further point to the Cats. And the game hotting up a pace. Geelong kicked the first 4 goals. Melbourne came back. Rode kicks in. To the outer side this time. Punch away by Tim Burke. Will clear the boundary line in front of Ricky Jackson, number 45. And it will be a throw in about 45 metres from goal. Steins and Burke. Burke at the back. Could have given away a free kick. Connolly. Not a good hand pass to Jackson. That's Cameron in. No, it doesn't. He sockers it back off the ground. Baldwin, good hip and shoulder. Chance for Viney. That's Todd Viney. Shocking kick. Down goes Steve Newport. Opportunity now to pick the ball up as Phillips. Phillips has kicked to the right half forward flank. Another redhead. Neville Bruns captaining the side tonight. And the Cats through Gurry. One of the rookies. I don't fancy that one. That's out of bounds on the full. And it'll be a free kick to Melbourne in the left back pocket.
Well, that was a poor kick by the inexperienced Gurry. And he'll be a bit disappointed with himself. Rode in the back pocket for Melbourne. Drop punt kick is pretty good. Covers 45 metres out towards the wing. Todd Viney somehow gets the ball to Marnie. Now the ball gets back towards Matthew Phoebe. All crunched to the ground was Phillips. And he was all held in there by Danny Seo. Umpire Sheehan will come in and bounce on centre wing. Bruns gives the young player Phillips a congratulatory pat on the back. Careful. Tim Burke jostling with Steins. And the ball hurried over the boundary line for a throw-in on centre wing. And Tim Burke, John Northey on the interchange bench. Time ticking away in this second quarter. There's just over 9 minutes left. Morgan gathers pretty well. The high kick by Morgan towards half forward. Coming out is White.
Great mark.
Takes a tremendous mark. High in the air and hugged very determinedly to his chest. White kicks the ball back over the centre in towards the Melbourne attacking area. Bailey gets the ball off the ground. Todd Viney, the short kick towards full forward. Bennett can't control it. The rebound comes to Boss. Boss's hand pass over the top goes to Troy, and Troy seems to be able to find space to get into the clear and kick the ball effectively over the centre. The knock away, but coming onto it. Good play by Rogers, and the ball hurried over the line again. It was Baldwin, rather, who did some good heavy work there on centre wing, and the ball hurried over the line for another boundary throw in. Melbourne make another change as Rod Keogh comes on for Luke Beveridge. Steins gets the ball down in the direction of Keogh, and crunch goes Keogh with a tackle, which was pretty effective, as you hear Peter Landy grunt for recovery period.
We'll have a bounce. You've
done pretty well to recover from that, Pete, and you can take it over.
To Ian Robertson sitting next to me. Burke, knock on, out of bounds again. No, it's not out of bounds. Chance for Melbourne through Matthew Phoebe. One of the twins, the other not playing tonight. Whistle on play there. It's going to be a Melbourne free kick to be taken by Bailey, who's having a two-man war with his opposite number 24 in Boss. Oh, Bennett, that is a tremendous mark by Darren Bennett.
Body strength was great, wasn't it? Kept the crab out of it all the way up the ground there. The ball was going to go to the left of Darren Bennett, and he put his body in between his opponent and the ball to drag it in with great upper body strength.
We mentioned Darren Bennett in the first quarter. There's a good kick at goal, distance-wise, accuracy. Let's see what happens this time. It is a goal.
Stuff in the first match of the Foster's World Cup for 1989. The bounce in the centre, crashing his way through a Stoneham. He gets the hand pass to the advantage of Gary Cameron. Gary Cameron with one bounce. A second bounce will give him the chance to run up to within goal-scoring distance. He pumps it into the square. A Melbourne mark. Yes, it's been taken at the back by Road, and he clears into the centre. Demons have got to run on here because Newport, the vision was not all that good. The kick wide to give O'Dwyer a chance to run at it. Stoneham's been moved by the look of it to centre half back for the Geelong side, and he takes the ball over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in just on centre wing, perhaps 5 or 10 metres towards the Melbourne goal.
O'Dwyer at the back. Boss. Wobbly punt up to half forward. Ablett the flyer. Again can't mark. Road. Steins doing well. Melbourne looking better.
Great kick by Steins.
That could be a free kick to Viney. Should be a free kick to
by
Viney.
Steins there.
And Sean White coming back to some of the form too. But we know he can produce. You can see that big screen there. On the left top of screen. It's the biggest screen in the world. Viney crunched to the ground. I must admit, one of the clearest too. Great stadium this. I don't think it's a great kick. It's not. It's one behind. So further behind to Melbourne. Kick in comes to Baldwin. Geelong through Darren Morgan at the right half back line. One of the more traditional kicks from Morgan. Oh, Marnie came down rather heavily there. Still hasn't got up. And it's left to Phoebe. Let's see if Melbourne can capitalise on this. Tingo's hand pass. O'Dwyer, the big fellow, turns around, kicks it, and we'll see Austin McCrabb take the mark in the goal square. McCrabb this time going to the outer side, looking for Gurry. Gurry doesn't let him down, takes the mark in front of Bailey. Steins, yes. Not played. Keogh tries to get into the open space. Connolly, one of the veterans in the Melbourne side, onto Newport. One of their more consistent players, Newport. Up to half forward. Bennett tries to mark one-handed. Jackson flips it out to Tingay. McCrabb, will he mark this one? Jackson has the speed. McCrabb, good use of the body. Cameron got through some pretty heavy traffic there, and a fine tackle applied by Jackson. Is that ball still in play? It's not. Much to the annoyance of the little Melbourne rover, number 45, Ricky Jackson, who's lost his shoe. I won't say a boot. His boots on this surface. Bennett, short kick. And Mark Boss does the clearing up work for Geelong.
Kick out wide towards centre wing, and a good mark has been taken by Phillips between centre wing and half back. We give these terminologies based on the ground being as long as a normal VFL ground, but really it is quite short. It's about 160 metres long, but still the player's doing fairly well to find space. As he's seen there, the kick by Baldwin has given Troy the chance to run into the half-forward area, take the mark, kick it into the goal square. There's no one on Brownless, and he takes an easy mark. Well, the angle could be a little difficult here for Billy Brownless. He's looking to try and give it off, but walking back to...
Should have gone back further.
Yes, he could have done. Now Brownless shoots for goal, and I think he's missed. It's a pretty ordinary kick by Billy Brownless, straight through for behind. He was trying to con the goal umpire, I think, but the goal umpire having nothing of that, Lee Keane. And a behind goes on the scoreboard for the Cats. 6-4 play, 6-7, and we've got just over 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Back in towards centre half back. Gary Cameron can't quite get his hands to the ball. Keogh tackled, backing up, good play now by Matthew Phoebe, and he did pretty well knocking the ball towards Seo. He couldn't control it, so we'll have a boundary throw in. And Matthew Phoebe looks a bit of a desperado, like his twin brother Stephen, who's a very good player on the half-back line for Melbourne. They'll be looking for bigger and better things from both those players next year. Newport, Keogh somehow gets through. Over the top goes Phoebe towards Todd Viney, and the Demons are into attack again. Wide towards the pocket, and a good mark taken by Tingay. In that right forward pocket, Stephen Tingay has an opportunity. He's kicked one, and he's taken it over the top of an experienced campaigner in Mark Boss. So Melbourne have got a few young players that they can look to for the future.
I like that Marnie.
I do too, Pete. And when you said he got knocked over earlier, he jumped up pretty quickly. Tingay shot for goal. It's close. No, it just misses to the left. So Melbourne offline in the latter part of the first half. They had a real chance to nail the Cats.
Austin McCrabb kicks into Mark Boss. Morgan in front of Keogh. Morgan at the left half-back flank for Geelong. They're going short. Now Darren Troy has possession. Troy, one of their better players. Beautiful spiral punt. Ablett, he's not holding his marks tonight. Christensen to Bruns. Bruns from a standing start. Brownless in the square.
Yes, he really had to sit there on Danny Seo. Seo running with the flight of the ball, and Brownless kicks the goal.
Brownless' second goal for Geelong, and one that the Cats needed as a steadier, because after getting away to a 4-goal break in the opening part of the first quarter, they were pegged back by Melbourne.
Peter, it'll be interesting to see how these teams go after such a long flight from Melbourne.
26 hours.
Yes, Billy Brownless here kicking the goal that has put the Cats in front close to half-time, but the fitness will certainly be a question mark on the players in the second half.
Yes, they didn't check in until late last night, although some of the Geelong players did arrive at the game the day before. And with the ball was Tim Burke.
Blood streaming from his nose.
Brother of the Geelong captain, Damien Burke. Newport. And there's the siren to end the first half, but a pretty interesting first half it was. And let's check the scores at half-time. It's Geelong, 7 goals, 5, 47, leading Melbourne, 6-8, 44 at the Skydome in Toronto. We'll be back with the third quarter shortly. From the Skydome, we begin the second half now. Geelong leading by 3 points, 7-5-47 to 6-8-44 in Foster's Cup action, and there's Stonen. That was almost a throw. In fact, the umpire has seen it as such. Can't throw the ball in Australian football. Must be punched, and that's a shocking kick by O'Dwyer. He should have done better with that, and the end result is going to be a Geelong ball. The mark taken by Baldwin. Baldwin goes straight down the ground, kicks high. O'Dwyer getting underneath it again, should mark, and does. Seems to be relishing the condition, Steve O'Dwyer. I don't know that that pass was intended for Newport, but he'll take it. It was a wobbly kick, the way it left the boot. Newport puts it a little bit too high. He's gone for Bennett, and he doesn't let him down. One of those high kicks that forwards in the Australian game don't really like, but Darren Bennett and Newport, I guess, Ian, realising that he had the marking power.
Oh, it wasn't a bad kick by Newport. Perhaps could have covered a little bit more distance, but at least it gave Bennett some chance to run at it. It was a good mark taken by the big full forward, and a chance for his third goal,
which he has got. Melbourne back in front.
And a good effort by the Demons. I don't think that they were fancied very much at all, but you must give them a chance, because when John Northey puts a group of players on the field, they are very, very competitive. And you mentioned, Pete, that he may have said a few stern words to them at quarter time, but I'm sure he probably had them revved up right from the start, and they're making a real contest of this. They lead by 3 points. The bounce back in the centre is not bad. O'Dwyer tries to flip it back. Road has the football. The left foot kick towards half forward. The mark has been taken by Baldwin for Geelong. He plays on quickly, kicks it across his body towards half forward. Chipping in was White. Tries to tap it back to Marnie. Coming in now for Geelong is Phillips. He's pushed off the ball. Road. The hand pass goes back towards CO. He backed himself. Matthew Phoebe's done pretty well since he came on in the second term. The kick in towards the centre towards Steins. Tidying up is Baldwin. Goes for one bounce. Forced to kick with the left foot. The chip goes close to the line, and the mark is taken by Brownless. Billy Brownless, who kicks the ball a long, long way under normal circumstances. Can't see any reason why he wouldn't get onto this. The big, long, torpedo punt kick to the square. No mark taken. Attempted kick off the ground. Comes out now to Matthew Phoebe again. The left foot kick by Phoebe towards centre wing, and the mark has been taken by Bailey. Brett Bailey, who lacks a little bit in pace, but surely nothing in endeavour. The kick towards half forward. A push out by Steins is allowed to go on by umpire Russo. Steins' kick into the pocket is effective, and the mark has been taken by Todd Viney. So Todd Viney well within scoring distance. He'd be 35, maybe 40 metres out, and he's taken 7 marks. Todd Viney. His brother Jay Viney, who started on the ground, is at the moment on the interchange bench. Viney, the right foot kick, okay for distance, accuracy slightly astray, and it's through for another behind to Melbourne. That's their 9th. So 7-9 plays 7-5. The Demons lead by 4 points. McCrabb, the Geelong player, to kick the ball back into play.
Goes to the outer side. Darren Morgan onto Gary Cameron. Sean White in front. There might be a free kick downfield, and in fact that is the case. The player is felled after he's kicked the ball. The kick goes downfield to the nearest player, and in turn this is Phillips, who's kicked 2 goals so far for Geelong. I'm suggesting he'll score from there. This fellow might. Gary Ablett, at last he's taken a mark, not an overhead one. And again, a very good kick of the Australian football. That glassed in area there at the back is a restaurant. Can he hit the glass? He's got the goal. That's the important thing. Geelong back in front.
Yes, goal for goal here at the Sky Dome in Toronto in the first match of the Foster's World Cup for 1989, and Gary Ablett taking the mark from young Phillips, and it was a good kick by the forward pocket half forward for Geelong, playing in his first senior game, and Ablett's kick makes no mistake, covered the distance very, very easily, which is not surprising for Gary Ablett. The bounce by umpire Russo back in the centre. O'Dwyer, a big thump wide, running onto it now. The Demons at half forward. Steins gets the hand pass out to Jackson. The fleet-footed Ricky Jackson, the little left foot chip, intercepted there by Baldwin. The kick into centre half back, the mark taken by Gary Cameron. He gets the hand pass off. Now Boss under pressure, hand pass over the top, gives Gary the chance to run onto it. Gary's hand pass puts Baldwin under pressure. He gets the hand pass back to Boss. They're fiddling around a little bit. Keogh nearly ran onto it. Tingay, hand pass wide. Newport, he's got an acre in front of himself. Newport goes for goal. The drop punt kick into the square, and a Melbourne mark taken by Bennett. And Darren Bennett coming up for goal number 4. Good play by the Demons at half forward in particular, where they never ever gave up, and all their players back there congratulating each other as Bennett kicks his 4th goal, makes no mistake. 8 kicks to Darren Bennett, 4 goals 2, and the scoreline now Melbourne 8-9 as Darren Bennett. We have another look at that goal. Melbourne's 8th. there, 8-9-57. Lead Geelong, 8-5-53.
So 4 goals to Darren Bennett's. Goal for goal here at the Sky Dome in the first match of the 89 Foster's Cup. And Melbourne, after a slow start, doing it well. From a standing start, Road up towards half forward. Rogers does well for Geelong, gets around Steins. Good tackle, Newport onto Troy, Geelong's best player in the first half. And he takes the hand pass again from centre field. Out wide. And the mark is taken by Brown. Young fellow who missed a goal right on the siren in the reserves grand final. Now, Gary Ablett, this could be interesting. Ablett could, if he gets onto this, go pretty close to kicking it. I know he's a long way out. And he's one of the best kicks in the competition. Only kick number 5 for Ablett. Not a bad kick distance-wise. Brownless, a little nudge into the back of CO and has taken the mark.
He was looking to play on too, Pete.
Nearly a rush of blood. And he's going to bring him right around.
He'll be kicking from behind the behind post.
He plays on, kicks, hits the window in the restaurant, bounces back into play. It's a goal. 3 goals to Bill Brownless. So the game hotting up a pace as players adjust to the conditions here at the Sky Dome. Gary Ablett getting into the play, marking in front of Peter Road, number 41. And he got the ball to Brownless with that long kick. 3 goals to Brownless.
Geelong will be looking for him to do a lot more next year if they're going to keep their impetus up.
Impetus they might have going again. Brown, a good tackle by Phoebe. Morgan gets the hand pass out. Brown again. Kick down towards half forward. CO grab. The ball spills free. Chance for Ablett. Goes at it pretty strongly. He looks keen. White on the Bailey. Or collects him going through. Ablett like a steamroller. And has given away a free kick. It'll be taken by Bailey, number 24. And if you're going to pinch somebody's beer in a pub, it would not be his. Knock on by Steins. Almost successful. Bit from Mark Boss does the tidying up work for the Cats, and Geelong had the numbers there. Taking it on the nose was Phillips. He puts Geelong deep into attack. Here's Brownless again. Got close to kicking this one in.
Well, much the same area as Ablett had his last shot for goal from, Billy Brownless. So let's see which one of them can kick the furthest distance. Brownless gets under a drop punt kick, and it goes off the side of his boot, also out of bounds on the full. So the free kick to be taken from Melbourne in the back pocket as Billy Brownless recollects his thoughts. The kick to be taken by Sean White. The scoreboard at the moment, the Cats are in front 9-5-59. Melbourne are 8-9-57. So a pretty entertaining game here in the first match of this international series. Kick by White out towards half-back. The flip out the back, Christensen, hand pass to Troy, who's been in the play right from the first minute. Connolly, good strong stuff in the back pocket, gets the ball out to Matthew Phoebe. He's tumbled down as he tried to get the hand pass out. The Melbourne player, Bailey, looking for an advantage rule to be given, but it'll go back to Matthew Phoebe, who is the twin brother of Stephen Phoebe and came on in the first quarter for the Melbourne side tonight in this big game at the Sky Dome. O'Dwyer at centre-half forward. Keogh, young nephew of Trevor Keogh, who played with Carlton. The ball comes to Steins. Steins snapshot, misses to the right. So Melbourne again offline. 8-10, plays 9-5. John Northey looking a little concerned down on the boundary line. And it's an interesting one, Peter, that the coaches back in Melbourne usually have an elevated position to watch the game from.
Not here. In the old days, of course, they used to watch from the boundary line. Mark taken by Gurry. Gurry's kick up the centre wing, punched away by O'Dwyer. And get the hand pass back from Tingay. Putting the Demons into attack again. McCrabb didn't want to mark that ball. Punched it down, picked up by Newport. That's pretty close.
Great
in fact, it's a goal. Tremendous snapshot by Steve Newport.
Melbourne, as they go to an advantage now of 5 points. 9-10, plays 9-5.
And Newport got the kick out of the centre, but it was taken away by Rogers. A long kick for Geelong. And there's young Marnie again. I like the look of him. On at Connolly. And we thought Marnie was one of the best players in the first quarter. Bailey just get down towards the half-forward line. This is Todd Viney. Over he goes in front of Connolly. And he punched that out of bounds almost deliberately, but it won't be paid by the umpire.
And the umpires too, Peter, have made this game pretty simple with their decisions.
Dennis Davey, coach of Geelong, in the absence of their regular man in that spot, Malcolm Blight, who was on the trip last year, not as the Geelong coach, but as a commentator for the Channel 7 network.
Had a pretty good look at the Cats, though, didn't he?
He did have a look, first of all, in Florida. Bounce at half forward. Bruns gets the front position. Out comes Keogh onto Bailey. From the left foot. And the tall timber there for Geelong. Was too tall for Jackson.
But didn't he do well, Jackson, to stop that ball from being marked by either one of the taller Geelong players? Well done, Ricky Jackson.
He conceded quite a few centimetres there, didn't he? McCrabb kicks in.
McCrabb's kick is awkward and short. The mark's been taken by Tingay. Now, this player's got a future, I feel. Stephen Tingay. He's just finding his feet in Australian rules football in the big time. That kick is just slightly off to the right and through for another behind to Melbourne. So their inaccuracies continue. The Demons, this time McCrabb's kick is a little bit more effectively. As a matter of fact, it's a lot more effectively. It's marked by Gurry at half-back. He plays on and kicks it into the centre. Good play by Sean White to get it down to Newport. Newport's kick wide to the half-forward flank area, and the mark has been taken by Todd Viney. Todd Viney at half-forward. And I think it was in the second term that I said that someone may have been a little too far out to score, and they put it through from here as Todd Viney comes up for his 9th kick. And it's a post, is it? Yes, another poster. That's their 3rd. And we haven't completed 3 quarters yet. We've got just under 12 minutes left in the 3rd term. And Melbourne 9-12, lead Geelong 9-5.
Rogers kicks in, again goes to the outer side. O'Dwyer almost dragged it down. Conley got 2 hands to it. Good bump by Baldwin. Bailey. Baldwin again. Boss. Troy. Good hand pass. McCrabb, long way from goal. What's he doing up there? This is Marnie again. Excellent hand pass to Sean White. And Melbourne swing back into attack once more. The ball too long for Tingay. Bennett with that trusty left foot. Standing start kick, but only one behind.
A couple of Melbourne blokes just to the wide left of Darren Bennett as he swept onto his left foot. One was Steins, the other Jackson. And both had disappointed looks on their face. Hand pass would have made it quite simple for a Melbourne goal.
Darren Bennett stands on the mark as the kick out will be taken by Gurry. Stanley favours the commentary box side of the ground. O'Dwyer tries to punch the ball away from Stoneham, who's had a quiet match. Not so that of Mark Boss, who's played particularly well. Baldwin kicks right across his body, or Newport misjudged it completely and allows Christensen to take what turned out to be a fairly easy mark. Now, Bruns might have been out of bounds on the full. He was, and so it will be a free kick to be taken by Melbourne. And the recipient on this occasion will be Sean White.
Sean White doesn't mess around and kicks it quickly towards centre-half forward. A big punch by Gurry from behind was effective, and it goes over the boundary line wide at half-back. So if one's to have a tip at this stage, the Demons are going pretty well. Their inaccuracies have caused them to be just at 9 points in front. 9-14 to 9-5. The ball comes clear now through Morgan. Morgan's kick towards half forward. Mark taken by Gary Cameron. Morgan looking for it back again. Cameron, short chip. Ablett can't mark. Rode does it pretty well and keeps his footing. Runs on with it. Peter Rode kicks it towards half forward, and judging it pretty well is Gary coming up from half back. Kicks it back towards centre wing. High flyers. Gary Ablett can't mark. The ball at the back. Rode takes it. Play on now, says umpire Sheehan. Umpire Russo indicating play on. Gurry, casually, perhaps didn't hear the umpire's whistle. Baldwin on the end of it, drops the hand pass. The ball now runs free. At the back, the Demons have the numbers. It's Bailey's kick towards half forward quickly. It's marked by Darren Troy. He gets the hand pass off to Gurry. You'll have to kick it quickly. He just gets it away before the Bennett tackle. And the Bennett tackle is illegal. The mark has been taken further forward by Brown. Brown's kick towards full forward. Brownless can't mark. Punching it away was White, close to the line, and it goes over for a boundary throw-in.
Sean White's done that repeatedly tonight. Some excellent play in defence from him. As I said, coming back to some of his better form. Well, that was late. That was later. And that's what the free kick was for. Stoneham, who's had a quiet night. Marnie, the Melbourne rookie, has done well. Gary Cameron dummies the hand pass and then fires out a 25-metre job to Boss, who gets collected by Tingay. That's gone through for a score. And in fact, it will be allowed. One behind. Done well, Mark Boss. The Geelong representatives in the grand final side. 21 possessions. He's had 11 kicks and 10 hand passes. So it's not a bad night's work. Cats still in attack. Cameron. Christensen should score from there. Brownless says, why didn't you give it to me? It was touched off the boot and one behind. And you'd have to ask that question again, Ian. Why didn't he?
Yeah, well, I suppose he thought he could kick the goal from there, but, well, if he kicks a little higher, it certainly was straight enough.
CO, just under 8 minutes left in the match. Bailey keeps the ball in play. Doesn't get it to a teammate because it's Austin McCrabb. Wobbly looking kick, or CO just go Brown. There's a bit of a nudge, yes, and the umpire has seen it for a push in the back.
What a great position Brian Sheung was in there to make that decision. I would suggest that if there was a critic here, he would give him 10 out of 10 for that positioning. And CO very, very upset. But Danny, if you saw the replay, it's a certain free kick to the Geelong player.
Brownless doesn't usually miss those. He hasn't missed that one, and that's 4 goals to the Geelong full forward.
Pretty effective night for Billy Brownless. One of the goals that he did kick, he took the mark hard up against the boundary line, and there's the replay that I was talking about just a few moments ago, that Danny CO would certainly have no argument if he saw that. But I was mentioning about Brownless's intelligence to run around from the boundary line to kick his 3rd goal, and his other 3 goals have been from relatively simple shots, so he's done a pretty good job. Geelong needed that goal because they were trailing by 7 points. They now trail by 1. Marnie gets the hand pass over the top, and here's a tough player now, kicking it forward as young Matthew Phoebe in towards that forward pocket, and going after it as Rogers, and he takes it over the line for a boundary throw-in. Yes, with Matthew Phoebe and Chris Connolly on that back line for Melbourne, they've certainly got a bit of toughness. Perhaps they're lacking a bit in height, but both very rugged players. A boundary throw in Tingay over the top. He perhaps should have stayed on the ground because that looks like one of the smaller Geelong players taking it clear, Darren Morgan, and the mark is taken by Marnie. He's undecided, but now forced to kick quickly. Ineffectively, Morgan takes the mark at half-back. He gets the hand pass off. It's Boss coming clear from half-back. The left foot kick by Boss up towards half-forward, and a great mark is taken by Sean White. And he's done pretty well, Pete. You mentioned about his confidence. Yep. It certainly is lifted in this match here in Toronto. He's at 12th possession, marked by Gurry. He plays on quickly. There's 2 players there for Geelong. It's the second one in line, Morgan, who takes it away. The right foot kick towards half-forward. No mark taken by young Brown, but he's quick to recover. Onto the right foot goes Brown. Kicks it towards half-forward. The high flyer, Brownless, couldn't mark. Bruns is onto it quickly. Into an open goal goes Neville Bruns and pings it.
No, one behind.
Don't believe it.
I agree with you.
It was a goal for mine. I'd love to have a look at a replay of that.
Well, Neville Bruns looking a little nonplussed.
Look, Bruns can't believe it. Oh. Well, the umpire must have been too close to the ball.
Well, you make up your own mind. Neville Bruns thought it was a goal. I did, Ian did. The goal umpire didn't. Make up your own mind at home.
Oh, dear me.
I'm not saying he's wrong.
Well, let's go on with it.
Chris Connolly. And a good mark taken by Matthew Phoebe, who Ian likes the look of, and I wouldn't argue with him. Dwyer. Well, you always think that Geelong, Ian, are going to get away, but Melbourne aren't letting them now. That's a good mark. Jay Viney.
And he's much in the same mould as his brother Todd. They both perhaps lack a little bit of pace, but very, very strong with their bodies, and that was a good mark by Jay Viney to keep his opponent out of it.
Good positioning, yes. Marking in front of Gurry. Now, a goal here would be useful for Melbourne. About 45 metres out.
Great kick.
Looks good off the boot, and there's a goal. Jay Viney's first.
quite notice who came off. It looks as though it may have been Bailey that came off for Jay Viney. Also, Stephen Tingay is on the interchange bench. The other players there, Todd Viney, Anthony Lovell, and at number 50, who was one of their younger players, Scott Turner.
Back into the centre. Goal for goal here at the Sky Dome before over 24,000 fans. Steins knocks the ball clear. Melbourne through Steins and O'Dwyer have done well at the centre bounces tonight. And the ball eluding Jay Viney. And also McCrabb out there. It traverses towards the outer wing.
Peter, there's 6 points the difference. What happens in this game if it's a draw?
I guess they play extra time because the winners go to London for the grand final of the Foster's Cup. Cameron nearly had his head taken off. Jimmy Stein said that he ducked it, and I'm inclined to agree. Technically, it's correct. Cameron from the right half-back flank. Up to the centre, and Sean White again has it knocked away by Ablett. Lightning hand pass by Morgan. Gratefully received by Troy, Brownless, and CO. Connolly does the tidying up work well. Not a good kick. Troy again. Looks for Stoneham. Can't find him. Well, can he? That's not a mark.
Well, I think it might have been Pete. Yes, he certainly got his hands to it.
He had first touch. I'm not quite sure about second.
Attempted punch away by Anthony Graham was not really effective, and Stoneham got the second grab at it. So
okay,
I would have played it.
Only 2 kicks to Barry Stoneham. He has had 7 hand passes nonetheless. Low trajectory kick gets the desired result for Geelong, and it's a goal. Neville runs, applauds loudly.
Yes, I don't think he's very impressed with the goal umpire at that end of the ground, Lee Keane. And Lee, we must mention to our viewers that Lee has had a bit of trouble with heights and did a bit of practicing over the last 12 months flying between Melbourne and Sydney so he could make this trip, and had quite a few relaxer tabs before he jumped on the plane in Melbourne.
Back into the centre after the first goal kicked by Barry Stoneham. Road tries to get clear. Now it's finally Melbourne through the agency of Graham. Up towards full forward. Bennett almost. Jay Viney a chance. Jackson likewise. Crucial fumble perhaps. Jackson's a goal sneak. Where's he kicked that one? Right across the goals. O'Dwyer's there. That is around the neck, is it not? To Graham.
Yes, a very obvious free kick there. And Graham, the recipient.
Now Graham well within kicking distance. A pretty tight angle. Obvious free.
Kicked it.
It's a goal. His first kick.
What a great tussle. You mentioned before that it was goal for goal. And certainly on the scoreboard, as the scoreboard at one end of the ground indicates that the attendance today, and I'm sure everyone will be pretty pleased with this, 24,639, and there's part of the crowd on the big replay screen here at the Sky Dome, which, as Peter has already mentioned, is the biggest in the world. The bounce back in the centre, and the difference in Melbourne's favour is just 6 points. Marnie again doing pretty well. Gets the ball out. Tim Burke. Darren Troy looking to give the hand pass away to Baldwin. Elects to go on with it himself. Kicks it up towards full forward. Brownless lumbering after it. Runs onto it now. He's tackled by Seow. I would have thought that he had control of the football, but umpire Sheehan allows play to go on, and a boundary throw-in will take place.
Yes, he's lucky not to be penalised, Bill.
So it's in the left forward pocket. There's the siren, which will end the third term here in the first final of the Foster's World Championship for 1989. And at three-quarter time, Melbourne lead by 6 points. The Demons 11-14-80. Geelong 11-8-74.
And we'll be back with the final quarter in just a moment. Final quarter here at the Sky Dome in Toronto. Over 24,000 fans in attendance for the first match of the Foster's Cup. 6 points the difference. Who's it going to be? Geelong got off to a great start in the first quarter when they booted the first 4 goals, but Melbourne came back well. They made the difference, only 10 points at quarter time. The Cats by 3 at quarter time, at half time I should say. Melbourne leading by 6 as we go into the final quarter. Bounce again at centre field. Burke can't get it very far. Tim Burke lands rather heavily. And up by Brian Sheehan. Comes in to help him up. Burke towering over Brian Sheehan. He does just about everybody else as well. See what happened there. The back or thereabouts. in the meantime beats Bill Brownless over the line. Seo comes out with the hand pass. And it goes to Newport. Melbourne running the ball well out of the fence. A lovely balk by Sean White. And he gets some distance with the kick too, up towards half forward. Gurry goes up in front of Ablett. Probably spoiled the superstar. Didn't see him. A chance for Jay Viney. 20-metre hand pass onto the Irishman, Jimmy Steins. Gets around Gurry and steadies. Long shot, will be a score, but only one behind. And that makes the difference now. 7 points in favour of the Demons. John Northey looks on interestedly. Jim Steins. Footed from Ireland.
Leading goal scorers in the match, Billy Brownless with 4 and Darren Bennett for Melbourne with 4, Peter.
And this is Rogers. We have a steel band somewhere in the background here. 5 kicks and 8 hand passes for Rogers. Cats need a goal. Didn't say desperately, but Melbourne leading by 7 points. It's a useful lead. Baldwin's kick up towards the left half forward flank, and there he is, Sean White again. The 2 Irishmen playing well.
Sean White at half back goes for the torpedo punt kick, doesn't quite come off. The ball wide. Now opportunity for Teo, he can't control it. Brownless, Stoneham rather. Boss over the top, Gary Cameron. Sweeping hand pass, Troy fumbles, but he's able to recover and he'll get his kick away, Darren Troy. Shorty towards centre half forward, a little too high for Bruns. Seo desperate. Connolly gets the hand pass and kicks it across his body out wide towards wing. Melbourne have the numbers, but the ball bounces unfavourably there for Jay Viney and goes over for a boundary throw-in on centre wing. And part of the crowd there, very, very interested in this game, and it's been a very entertaining one. High over the top was Gary Ablett getting the knockdown. Opportunity for Phillips, leaving it behind was Baldwin, and taking it over was Anthony Graham, one of the younger brigade there for Melbourne. We've got a few youngsters here, Melbourne, that certainly will do well for them in the future, I think. There's one of them, Matthew Phoebe, can't get the ball out.
Steve O'Dwyer looks hurt too for Melbourne.
Brown gets it out to Gary Cameron, and he's decked by Marnie as he kicks, so the free kick will go down the field to Brownless, and O'Dwyer has picked himself up and will go back and have some sort of relief playing up in that forward line for Melbourne. Gary Cameron decked by Marnie around the neck. Brownless's kick is to the left and misses when Geelong could really have done with a goal. So Brownless's personal tally now, 4 goals, 2 in that Geelong scoreline of 11-8. The kick in by White out towards half back. Chance for Stoneham, runs one way, then goes back onto the right foot. The kick across his body is marked, but it's taken across the line before he got a second grab at it by young Brown, and the umpire there, Ross Wright, will throw it in. Right half forward for the Cats. High over the top, Stoneham. At the bottom there was Beveridge. His kick slightly ineffective. Phoebe, Matthew, trying to get through some heavy traffic. Todd Viney does. And Todd Viney with the left foot kick up towards half forward. It goes through O'Dwyer and goes over the boundary line for a throw-in at left half forward for the Demons, and it's edging slightly closer with every opportunity.
Dennis Davey, acting coach of Geelong. Boundary throw-in. O'Dwyer contests this one, palms it out the back. And you can see Christensen pick it up effectively. Not a long kick by the Geelong player. Stein was judging the flight of the ball again, and picked up by Phillips for Geelong down towards their right half forward flank. The superstar Gary Ablett overruns it. 2 Melbourne players see it safely over the line. Sean White and Chris Connolly. It's right forward pocket for Geelong. One innovation here, we can hear in the background is some sort of steel band. I think we need that back in Australia after a heavy night. Not music to the ears. Ablett, good punch away. Beveridge, gets ridden into the ground by Bruns. That should be a free kick. And Luke Beveridge will take the free kick. Took a couple of heavy knocks in the first quarter, from which he recovered okay. Steve Newport, almost a mark. Jay Viney kept it in play, but not to the advantage of Melbourne. It went to Troy. Baldwin at centre field. Good pace for a big fellow. Awkward looking left foot kick. Danny Seo sees it safely over the boundary line in front of Neville Bruns. We'll see a throw-in.
Actually, that's an interesting one. Peter said he saw it safely over the boundary line. If it just touches him on the foot and goes over on the full, it's a free kick to Geelong, and they could have nearly scored from there.
Clubbed away by White again. Bruns and Beveridge. Jackson keeps the ball in play. That was Graham that overran it.
Good, great play by the Demons there.
Terrific play by Jackson. Usually does his best work close to goal. Dwyer taps the ball out the back for Keogh. If he can pick it up, he can. He's well shepherded. At a 30-metre hand pass. Again, though, Troy standing in the road.
Yes, that was a bad one there by Keogh, because Geelong have got the advantage now up at half forward. Gary Cameron will kick them into attack. No mark taken. Chance for Brownless. The hand pass. Sweeping back towards Bruns. Bruns only metres from goal. Free kick. And it looked pretty clear to me. Russo very close, umpire John Russo, to that incident. And lying on the ground is Todd Viney. Looking a little worse for wear, as Neville Bruns will shoot from about 20 metres out. And the angle not very difficult at all. So, as you have a look there at the tackle, Neville Bruns rewarded with a free kick. And this will make the scores level. Bruns kicks for goal, and he kicks accurately. So the scores are level, and we've got 18 minutes left in this first match of the Foster's World Cup for 1989. Neville Bruns, who we thought kicked a goal in the third term, certainly kicked a goal then. And Todd Viney looking a little anxious there with maybe a leg injury. Scores level at the Sky Dome in Toronto.
Neville Bruns' second goal. Back into the centre, scores level at the Sky Dome. Ooh. Jackson over to Viney. That's Jay Viney. The kick high to half forward. Bennett got out position. Snapshot by Tingay. It's out of bounds. I'm told the glass in front of that restaurant is shatterproof, and indeed it proved to be so on that occasion.
You would want to be if a baseball hit it, wouldn't it? The baseballs are pretty hard.
Sort of girders around this place. You walk into them, as I found out. Stoneham, O'Dwyer, Christensen. Here's a chance for Phoebe. Not a good hand pass to Jackson. He's good enough to pick it up and shoot it. Goal! And missed. One behind.
Gee, wasn't that great play by Matthew Phoebe to back himself there? And knowing all the time that he could have been met heavily by a Geelong player coming in the opposite direction.
You spoke in glowing terms of that part of his play earlier in the match, Ian. Backed up again by example. Kick out almost marked for Geelong by Phillips. Be a free kick out of this. There is. Phillips has kicked 2 goals for the Cats. And he's in the back pocket at the moment. Stein's made good position, but got underneath the ball as it turned out in the end. Brown, too slow to get rid of it. Picked up by Graham. Kick only travels about 25 metres. 12.5 up and 12.5 down. Good tackle by Beveridge, and getting slung to the ground tonight, as Phillips was on that occasion, is not pleasant. Plenty of ferocity being shown at the moment now by Christensen. Kicks it the wrong way for Geelong. It was touched off hand, so it can't be a mark. Tingay taps it further forward. Viney, there's Jay Viney again onto Jackson. Jackson will steady, almost got clobbered for his efforts. Bennett will go 5 metres out, puts it through. 5 goals to Darren Bennett.
I thought that glass was under threat that you spoke about then, Peter, but Darren Bennett, no mistake there, and it gives Melbourne just a little bit of breathing space, although you wouldn't think there'd be any breathing space in this game. It's been neck and neck all the way, and it was good play again by the Demons to get the ball to the big full forward, and from there he could make no mistake whatsoever, and he kicked his 5th goal, and again Ricky Jackson in the action to get the ball up there. So back in the centre, the ruck contest, the ball comes out through Marty Christensen, but holding up is Sean White at half-back for Melbourne. The Demons lead by 7 points. Sean White comes clear and kicks it out wide, and a good mark taken by the big ruckman Steve O'Dwyer on centre wing. He's looking to play on. Kicks from basically a standing start up towards half-forward, and from the back, Jay Viney can't mark over the top of Boss. He gets the hand pass off to Gary. Gary's short pass out in front of Bruns, and Bruns shrugs the tackle from Matthew Phoebe and kicks the Cats up towards half-forward. Ablett can't mark. It goes over the back to his opponent, Rode, who's done a very good job, Peter Rode, on Gary Ablett. And the kick in short, a courageous mark taken by Newport. And Rode has had 10 kicks on half-back, picking up Gary Ablett. Newport's kick towards full forward. Bennett's there, and marks.
Great mark.
Well, he's been the difference, I think, Peter, up at full forward, because they've given him something to fire at. and he hasn't let them down, taking a couple of good marks. His last goal, as we have a look at this mark, that was a really good mark. He's taken 7 marks, kicked 5, and now he has kicked 6. I was going to say that his 5th goal was one from a hand pass over the top by Ricky Jackson. But the other 5 he's worked fairly hard at getting, and he's kicking. He's missed a couple, well, perhaps one that he should have kicked earlier on in the game, and I think it might have been in the first quarter. But the other 6 have been very, very good goals for Melbourne.
And that is Melbourne's biggest lead of the match so far. Geelong opened up a pretty handy break at the start of the game when they booted the first 4 goals. But now with a lead of 13 points, they've thrown out the challenge to Geelong. Come back if you can. 6 goals to Darren Bennett as we come back into the centre. 13.5 minutes to go in the Foster's Cup from the Sky Dome. Who's going to get it out of the centre? It's TODD VINEY finally. Baldwin gets skittled. Boss, a hurried hand pass. Phillips, Geelong desperate at the moment to try to get a goal. Good intercept taken by Matthew Phoebe. And plenty of weight being used. In fact, umpire Brian Sheehan has found a free kick. It'll go Melbourne's way. And it will be taken by Phoebe. At left centre wing, Matthew Phoebe's kick. Tries to find O'Dwyer. He's got the front position, comes out with the ball to Steve O'Dwyer. Tries for Bennett, couldn't find him. Rogers in front. Bennett chases. Troy. Rogers. No, it won't be Rogers. The hand pass, well, it had that sort of hospital look about it, didn't it? And Melbourne really have got their tails up at the moment. They're playing with a lot more confidence than Geelong. And after a very slow start, they might even be able to go and hang on and win this match.
Just over 12 minutes left. Peters, John Northey indicating to his training staff what to do on the ground.
O'Dwyer copped one in the eye, it looks like. He's in a spot of bother.
Oh, John Russo, I think you made a blue there, Bruns. Didn't do anything with the ball when he was caught.
Christensen, at right half back, runs almost to the centre wing position, gets plenty of distance with the kick. The Cats looking for a goal now. Will they get one through Brown as he taps the ball further forward? Gary Cameron ducks his head again. Ablett, Rhodes done a great job on him and wins out again. Back to Sean White, who's back to his best form tonight. There's no doubt about that. Oh, over the top, Stoneham from Steins. Good mark. And Stoneham is a tremendous kick. Barry Stoneham was taken out a bit earlier by young Marnie for Melbourne. And both Ian and I spoke of in glowing terms for his efforts in the first half. Stoneham from 50 metres out. That's not a bad sort of a kick, but results in only 1 behind. When the Cats badly needed a goal, and that makes the difference.
2 straight kicks.
2 goals. Good mark to Stoneham in front of Steins. And the kick out has been marked by Rode, who in turn gets it back to Sean White. Melbourne out of trouble to the half-back line.
Sean White kick is wide to Beveridge, and Beveridge takes the mark defensive side of centre wing. Good kick by Beveridge up towards half-forward. Brownless and O'Dwyer. Brownless recovers first. Hand pass goes back. Baldwin forced to kick high in towards the centre. Interference by Jimmy Steins on Stoneham, and Stoneham takes the free kick for Geelong. So this game will go right down to the wire, I feel. Stoneham's kick towards half-forward, dropping in short. Ablett interferes with the Melbourne player in front. I can't quite pick it up, but yet Chris Connolly it is.
Frustration there, Ian.
Well, the ball just dropping a little short there, and Connolly putting himself in front. Gary Ablett perhaps.
Robert Domenico would know how he feels.
Yes, coming from behind. Connolly perhaps looking for a 50-metre penalty.
Not even going to take the kick, is he?
Well, he may be a little stunned from that knock. Now he knows what's going on because he has the football at centre-half back, and he plays on that familiar left foot kick wide towards centre wing. No mark taken. Steins, a little chip. CO, Tingay, Newport, forced to kick with the right foot. Obviously not too confident on the left. Rogers, Troy, caught, gets the hand pass away, and it goes over for a boundary throw-in. The Geelong defence under a bit of pressure here in the last 10 minutes of the game. They lead by, the Demons lead by 2 goals. So Geelong need to get one pretty quickly. Umpire Russo has picked a free kick out of the ruck contest. It'll go to Brownless. And Brownless an opportunity to put Geelong into their forward half. The long drop punt kick. It'll fall at centre wing. No mark taken. Punching it ahead was Stoneham. Still, it's in an indecisive area. Caught with the ball there was Phoebe. The ball runs free. Troy at centre half back. Now he'll give the Cats a chance. No, the kick slews off the side of his boot towards half forward. Where will this finish up? It's at half forward now for the Cats. The kick by Connolly goes wide towards centre wing. Newport, in his unobtrusive fashion, Stephen Newport gathers on centre wing. Kicks it towards half forward. No mark. Running onto it now was Graham. Good strong stuff. Jackson caught. Dispossessed. Umpire allows play to go on. It comes to Troy. Troy will be tackled. He gets his kick away and it's out of bounds on the full. And great play rewarded there by Jay Viney. And he'll take the free kick and put Melbourne into attack.
Demons leading by 2 goals. And we've got 8.5 minutes left in this match. His time running out for the Cats. Jay Viney goes for distance, gets little of it, but Rogers takes the mark for Geelong. Transfers play to the outer side, looking for Brownless, who marks in front of Beveridge. To Christensen. He's been a pretty consistent player tonight. That's a beautiful kick. Travels 60 metres down to Ablett at full forward. Snapshot. Brown. That'll go close. Not close enough. One behind, 11 points. Can the Cats get 2 goals to win the game? And Brown missed a goal right on the siren that would have given Geelong victory in the reserves grand final back in Melbourne this year. Chris Connolly seems to have recovered from that knock after being met pretty heavily by Gary Ablett. Nice long kick, Seo in front. Will he be credited with the mark? Yes, says the umpire. Good effort, Pete. Danny Seo, formerly of Collingwood. Snipped up by Melbourne in the draft. Thumped away by Brownless. He's upfield, it would appear, chasing kicks. Where is he playing?
Brownless is playing at centre half back now on O'Dwyer. Peter, he's been moved there perhaps about 10 or 15 minutes ago.
He's been a pretty effective forward. Now there's Stoneham, who wasn't half forward, was well beaten by Marnie. Christensen runs out of bounds with the ball. Now it's out on the full.
Actually, that's a tremendous example of how persistence can pay off. Stephen Newport perhaps knew that he was never ever going to stop Christensen from getting his kick, but certainly put the pressure on and forced Christensen to kick it out of bounds on the full.
Danny Seo has the kick. Seo at left centre wing. O'Dwyer at the back of Brownless. Went for the knock on. There's Christensen again. And this time the ball is carted over the boundary line. It will be a throw-in. Melbourne's left half-forward flank, and the clock indicating less than 6.5 minutes left in this match. Geelong looking a little bit tired. I'm sure the Melbourne players are as well. Melbourne seemingly the fitter combination at the moment. O'Dwyer again. Back to Newport. Onto the left foot. That's not a bad sort of a kick. It could seal the game for Melbourne. It's a goal.
Great kick by Stephen Newport. I mean,
his second goal in.
Well, when you're pinned in on the boundary line like that, and admittedly there was no player near him, but to steady and throw it onto the left foot and gather the distance plus the accuracy, it was a great kick by Stephen Newport. And he is one of the big improvers in the competition, I feel, over the last 2 or 3 years. Known as a bit of a tagger, but certainly gains a lot of possessions. The bounce back in the centre, and now Geelong have got some real hard work to get out of this. Stoneham can't take the ball away. Brown taps it out to the advantage of Brownless. Brownless's hand pass over the top to Gary Cameron. Gary Cameron at half forward. Sean White tackled fiercely and gave away the kick up the field. Well, I don't know why it's not up the field. Maybe because it was as he kicked the ball. I'm a little confused with that decision. Cameron, now we see it. Yes, it's around the neck as he kicked the ball, not after he kicked it. The ball in the forward pocket. The kick by Phillips is a goal to Geelong. A great kick by Phillips. That's his third. And Geelong not giving up. Tremendous kick by Gary Phillips. So the Cats are still within striking distance. We've got less than 5 minutes left. And they trail
11 points.
89 to 100. What if they kick a quick goal, Pete? We'll have one on our hands then.
We will. Under 5 minutes left in this match. Foster's Cup from the Skydome in Toronto. Scores have been pretty close right throughout the evening. Down goes Matthew Phoebe. Still could be a Melbourne ball though. Jackson trying to pick it up inside the boundary line. Did so effectively. Jay Viney, can he get clear? Snapshot. is off target. 1 behind.
2 goals the difference.
Shaping up, could it be a draw? Clock showing just over 4 minutes now. Graham doing battle with Christensen. It's out of bounds, and it will be a throw in about 55 metres out from goal.
Another good effort by a young Melbourne player there. Graham could easily have given away a free kick there.
Dwyer and Brownless. Dwyer taps it down to Newport. Onto Beveridge. Luke Beveridge steadies, shoots from 25 out. Might be useful behind though. It is. So 13 points the difference. So Geelong now needing 3 scoring shots to win the game, and they would need to be 3 goals with only 3.5 minutes left. Pretty hard to see that happening. And it has happened. Gary Cameron takes the mark just up from the back pocket. Cats have been breaking down across their half-forward line, especially after half-time. Oh, that's a great mark taken by young Brown.
Got to move it quickly though, Peter.
He will. Clock ticking down too quickly for the Cats' liking. Ablett 2-on-1 at the back is Road, who's done a great job. Good backup support from Connolly.
Connolly looking for someone to kick it to out at half-back, but it's a little too high out there for Beveridge, and the mark is taken by Troy, who certainly will figure in best player conditions after the game. The kick by Troy goes in towards half-forward, and the mark is taken by Baldwin.
Cramp, it looks like. Now the umpire whistling time on.
Troy was 30 possessions.
There is no time on though.
Baldwin slightly forward of the centre. The high drop punt kick into the goal square. They need a mark here. They can't get it. It's Melbourne to tidy up in that last line of defence, and they rush it through for a behind. So again, it's 12 points the difference, but the clock says that there's only 2.25 minutes left in this game. And why should Melbourne worry now where the football is? Because there's no time on. Precious seconds wasted there. Peter Road going across to pick it up, and he's in no hurry to get it back into play whatsoever. Now 2 minutes left, so a tall order for the Cats.
Kicks in the commentary box side of the Sky Dome. Up at the back was Stoneham. Gurry, number 48. Loses out to Jay Viney. An excellent hand pass. Danny Seo to Matthew Phoebe. Phoebe a short pass. Oh, Bennett and Brownless. Crowd loved that. Don't think the players did. Darren Bennett within kicking distance. He won a long kicking contest at half-time from Glenn Harper of the Toronto Argonauts. That was a pretty solid sort of a collision. Bam! And they both got up okay, or so it seemed. And this will really seal it for Darren Bennett in Melbourne. He's kicked 6 goals so far. Can he make it 7? In fact, any score would really seal it, I guess. 1 behind. By Darren Bennett, 6 goals. What have you got him down for?
6-3, Pete.
6-3 to Darren Bennett. 90 to 102. Brownless kicks in. 1 minute of the match remaining at the Sky Dome. Stoneham on right centre wing. Barry Stoneham goes for distance with the kick. Down towards McCrabb. McCrabb sharks it. White. And soccer training coming in handy. Newport takes the same mark in front of Stoneham at halfback.
And Newport, who'll certainly hold up play and slips over. Well, that was a great effort, Steve. I think the Academy Awards would be proud of that. 19 kicks and 4 marks to the Melbourne Ruck Rover, and he's played a pretty good game. His short kick out towards the wing, looking for the safety of the boundary line. As I said, no time on in this game. 4 25-minute quarters in front of 25,000 people at the Sky Dome in Toronto, and it looks very much like Melbourne will go on to the final to be played in London on Sunday week. The kick by Troy, his 19th kick goes towards centre half forward. Opportunity for Graham, and he gets his kick away. It goes wide towards the wing. The siren has sounded, has it? Yes, it's all over. Melbourne have won. The umpires haven't heard the siren. Now they have, as umpire Sheehan holds his arms in the air to indicate full time, and Melbourne win the first game in the Foster's World Cup for 1989. The scoreboard, 14-19 to the Demons, 13-12 to the Cats. That's 14-19, 103 to be exact. Geelong 13-12, 90. And the leading goal scorer on the ground this evening was Darren Bennett for Melbourne, who kicked 6. Steve Newport kicked 2. And for Geelong, Bill Brownless kicked 4. Gary Phillips, a youngster in his first taste of senior football, kicked 3. And Neville Bruns kicked 2. Peter, questionably, perhaps it should have been 3 to Neville Bruns.
Yes, I'm sure he'll be talking about that when he looks at the replay, but I don't think you could take anything away from Melbourne, Ian. They were the better side of the night, certainly after quarter time. Geelong got the jump on them. They kicked the first 4 goals of the game. Melbourne came back and kicked the next 3, and actually Melbourne outscored Geelong in the next 3 quarters. It was 3-3 to 4-4 in the second term, 4-3 to 5-6 in the third, and 2-4 to 3-5 in the last quarter. You mentioned during the game that fitness and tiredness might have played a part, and I think Melbourne looked the fitter side in the end.
Oh, certainly, Pete, and it was a great performance by the Demons.
The umpires check the scorecards. You'll find that Geelong are going down 90 to 103. We'll be back with the presentation in just a moment. Would appear is a comedian even in Toronto. The goal umpires being lampooned. I suppose we should mention to Canadian viewers the outfits worn by the goal umpires were suggested of change many years ago, but they decided to continue with them because there's a bit of tradition there. When Australian football was first invented, or first played if you like, the outfits worn by the goal umpires were very similar to those worn by English cricket umpires, and the game was taken up by early settlers in Australia as a way for cricketers to keep fit during the winter months. And as they came from England, they had a bit of tradition there too, and the umpires, they liked the outfits that they had by the English umpires, and they kept them, and they still keep them. And I think they, well, let's hope they keep them for a long time.
I reckon that was fantastic, Peter, just watching those young guys over there, and they're still having a lot of fun. And I think that's all in the spirit of it, a little bit of comedy, because the players have put on a tremendous performance here tonight. And Melbourne are to be congratulated, because I think they came over here. Both sides were depleted with injuries, and both sides had to try some young players, and they all did very well. I thought young Phillips for Geelong kicking 3 goals, and the number 46 for Melbourne, Marnie, at centre-half back doing pretty well. And we'll now go down to Mike Williamson, who is going to do the presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, if we may have your attention for just a moment, may I say on behalf of the Australian Football League and the players who took part here tonight in the Foster's Cup Challenge, the boys of Melbourne, the boys of Geelong, a sincere thank you to the people of Toronto. You're absolutely marvellous. We hope you enjoyed the game. Did you? We have trophies to present. First of all, the Foster's Trophy for tonight's match. And I'd like to call upon Mr. Ted Kunkel, the Executive Chairman of Malts and Breweries. Ladies and gentlemen, Ted Kunkel.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for supporting the Foster's World Cup. And thank you, Toronto, for your support for VFL football. We're delighted to bring it to you. Without further ado, I would like to present the Foster's Challenge Cup to Mike O'Dwyer, the captain of Melbourne.
Good on you, Straub. And Jimmy Stein's there also. Ladies and gentlemen, there is one other presentation. That is for the most valuable player in tonight's Foster's Cup Challenge. Ted, I wonder if you'd like to announce that and present the trophy to the most valuable player.
Ladies and gentlemen, the most valuable player, Steve O'Dwyer.
Just like to thank Foster's for putting it all on. The crowd, you've been great. And all the single girls, get back to the Royal York. We can all have a chat. And the boys played fantastic. I'll take them all. So everyone get back there. Thanks very much.
Well on you, Straub. Well spoken. Jimmy Steins, come over here. Thank you, Ted. Do you want to echo his remarks about the single girls or what?
Of course, definitely. Plenty of room back there.
Jim, it was a great match to watch, a thrilling match to watch. Did you enjoy it as much as the crowd here did?
Oh yeah, it was a great atmosphere out there. It's a great scoreboard up there for the crowd, and the surface is pretty good tonight. I think the crowd got their money's worth. It was a nice close game, but it's good to see that we came up and won in the end.
Well, playing indoors for you guys is a little bit different. In fact, it's a lot different. Did it affect your play at all? Because everything you did seemed to work well.
I think it's an advantage in one way because there's no wind, and you don't slip on the surface and so on. So, you know, as it turned out, it was good for us. I agree. I think it's a good surface.
Good on you, Jim. I've got to ask Straub, come over here. You went down in the centre there at one stage. I didn't think you were going to get up.
Oh no, it was just a light knock, as we get them all the time in this game. There was no worries.
A tough game?
Yeah, it was pretty physical. A few bumps and bruises, but we'll get over that because we won. So I just also like to say the girls are for the young blokes, not me, because I've got the girlfriend over there in the stand.
Well, you may have convinced your girlfriend, Straub, but you didn't convince me. Well done. Have a Foster's, because you do enjoy a Foster's. So to the rest of the boys, go have a Foster's too, Jim. Thank you, Ted. Thank you to Molson Breweries. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, thank you for your attendance here tonight. We've had a wonderful night at the Foster's Cup Challenge here in Toronto. Now, congratulations to the Melbourne boys.